very difficult. I wrote so many scripts, and I don't really have many options as of now. Not because I don't want to make them, it's because everybody's uncertain and producers are scared.
7-8 साल ट्राई करने कुछ हो नहीं रहा है, मुझे वही ऐसी जिल्लत वाली जिंदगी डिsillusioned हो गया पूरे ग्लैमर वर्ल्ड से। मुझे लगा ये क्या है यार, कैसी दुनिया है, talented people like just standing on the over। यार मुझे अच्छी जिंदगी चाहिए, I cannot be like this।
लोग पूछते हैं कि कब रिलीज होगी, अब हमें भी नहीं पता कि कब रिलीज होगी।
कुछ पता तो किसी को होता नहीं, आप जितनी भी कहानी बता दीजिए आपके दिमाग में क्या कोई समझ पूरी तरह से पाता नहीं है, उसको भी जाना होता हाँ जी बहुत अच्छी बोल के चला जाता है।
It's 2024 and yet every creator faces the same old issues. Why? It's time to redefine the rules. Time to create without compromise. Time for Dish TV Watcher. Here, your work stays yours. Your audience is already waiting for you. And your work gets the spotlight it deserves. This means that whether you're an aspiring creator or an established one, you no longer need the backing of big banners to make it big. So, if Watcho had been launched decades ago, even Christopher Nolan wouldn't have to face this.
Yeah, your greatest fear is that one lose the got a chance for people to view your film.
Dish TV Watcho. The freedom to create is all yours.
Wish someone had told me that years ago.
Let's give a huge round of applause. Yes.
আমি ন্যাশনাল স্কুল অফ ড্রামা তো আমি একটা শো করি, সেটা 500-র উপরে শো করে ফেলেছি, সোলো পারফরমেন্স করি, আমার স্টোরি টেলিং। তো আমি 8 বছর ঘুরে শোটা করি আর কি, একটা ব্যাকপ্যাকের মধ্যে জিনিস নিয়ে কাজটা করি। তো 500 শো কমপ্লিট হয়ে গেছে। আমার মোটামুটি একটা সময় পর্যন্ত মনে হতো যে কোথায় পারলাম না, আর ভালো হলে ভালো হতো, এটা হয়। কিন্তু আজকে দাঁড়িয়ে আমার মনে হয় যে আমি যেই মুহূর্তটায় কাজটা করছি ওই মুহূর্তটাই অতটুকুই দেওয়ার ছিল, তার না হলে যেটা সমস্যা হতে থাকবে আমার মেন্টাল প্রগ্রেসে। মানে আনন্দটা তো খুব বড় কথা আর কি। আর আজকাল একটুখানি আমি মানে আমি বড় নাম, বড় বই, বড় পড়াশোনা কম করছি, কারণ পারফরমেন্স শুধু ভার্নারেবল না, প্রচুর যদি প্রেশার আসতে শুরু করে, নিজেকে আমার রিসার্চে আর বোদ্ধা মনে হয়, তাহলে কাজটা আমার সেই অর্থে মানে কমিউনিকেশনসটা তৈরি হয় না।
বসিয়ে দিলে এটা হয় না। আবার যদি বাঁকুড়ার একটু ভেতর দিকে, তখন ওরা একটা ইউজ করে পুরুলিয়ার কাইন্ড অফ জায়গাতে যেরকম ইউজ করে, ইয়াম মারাংপাড়া বাক্সটক থেকে ইয়ার ডাগরপাড়া একটা পেইন বাইক কিনলো আর ওকে দিয়ে দিল। এই জিনিসগুলো আমাদের না শুধু বটে বা একটা হয়েছে এরকমভাবে মানে অ্যাকসেন্টগুলো নয়, এই প্রপার ডায়ালেক্টগুলো দিতে হয়। মানে যেরকম কলকাতার ভাষা এইরকমভাবে বলি, আপনি মানভূমে যাবেন, মানভূমের ভাষা আলাদা, বাঁকুড়ার ভাষা আলাদা।
Rahul Bose, and even more contemporary when you see Irfan saying "Matha kharap nahi," it's make a lot of difference. Uni jai proshangota tulen, I think it's extremely relevant. Bote kar khaisi jaisi is not the only confinement of regional language. I think it has a huge impact on storytelling, and we have two great filmmakers from two generations, Tony and Roshan here. और दोस्तों जी जे डायलेक्ट यूज हो चुके हैं टोनिक छविগুলো थे, these are exemplary, these are pathbreakers.
For all the actors, for the pronunciation and enunciation of kh and z, like how it's said in Urdu. So do you think all these make a difference? To introduce our speaker for the session, the most iconic and beloved figure in Benchurch audiences with his powerful performances, but has also become a true symbol and beloved Bambada. I would request the entire media to not go up for the pictures and
running a bit late, but yes, very happy for this initiative and to be part of this.
and I'm a little nervous talking.
I'm actually a little nervous too, but it's been a while I've spoken to you.
So yeah, and all my filmmakers, all brilliant filmmakers, I would say. I think Tony had just left. Kushun and of course we all are here. So yeah, so I'm so happy to be part of this session. And it's a wonderful initiative. Honestly speaking, I was supposed to be in the morning flight. As Shamrat spoke to me, I don't know how much I will be able to add because we are all newcomers. For me, facing camera is just giving my first shot in my life. It's been always. So I'm a bit nervous and sitting with an iconic person. I mean, she had done a lot of fantastic work, not only in Bangla, I would say nationally. We really feel proud of her. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Well, I actually want to start the session with a question.
It was like my regular 3 shifts, around 22, 18, 19, 26 releases a year. I think it's a record. I'll not say nationally, it's an international record. But that was a time when I used to do everything accordingly. I know that these are the things which my audience want from me. So that was the area. But from last couple of, I'll say from last 14, 15 years, the character which I started working on, which is different, which is more human, which is your relatable. So when I started doing that kind of a character, when I normally get a character like maybe a Lalun Koke, or maybe a Latisha, or I mean, a lot of characters are brilliant characters. Even when I do a Subhash Bose, I try to live with it. That's number one. And I always want from my director is sitting here that there are few things which come to the script, which as a character, that this is written in the script, you know. But I normally ask them that tell me the backstory of this character. Let's make a story of this character which is maybe not there in the film, but that makes me easier to get into the character. And then of course I try to find out somebody if I know. I really couldn't find out somebody for my Yadisha because that was too like a very different concept, the language of the cinema, even the audience. You have to understand, we used to only have one screen 30 years back. Now we have at least 5 to 6 screens. We have so much of option now. So, and every screen is very important. And to like, so there are so much of option. When we started, there was only one option, entertainment. Matlab, this is the magic of cinema. We have to always give a try.
But tell me this, you worked for what, 3 decades and 300 films. What do you feel is the gap in the distribution models today? Your wisdom will kind of shed light on this. What do you think is lacking?
So I think the system is changing with the time. The distribution, if you say this is a regular kind of a distribution, which also had changed because there used to be a time when our, again, those mainstream film when they used to get released, they used to get advances. They used to be advanced to take a film and release in the theaters. So now thing has changed. It's more of a multiplex. It's more of there are single. 40 years. It's not a joke. Right? So I mean, it's been many. Because I personally believe failure only makes you perfect. And I always tell to my, especially for my actors, I will say, my next generation, please don't wear success. You have to forget the success. Within 7 days, 10 days, 15 days, 1 month max. But try to wear a failure. Try to be with it. Try to get into it. Why did this fail? So if you see a lot of films which I thought it's going to be like biggest film of something, it just miserably failed. And I started being with that film. I started operating the film basically. I did my operation with that film. Then I learned something from that and I wanted to give it my next project. There was a time, honestly speaking, yes, I always had a very, I'll say, reasonably good time, but there was a rough time also. There was a very important magazine, newspaper, where they wrote about the actors list. So my name was not there in 1 to 10. There was a number, 1, 2, 3, 4. So my name was not there. But within 5 years, number 1 was my name, number 2 was my name, number 3 was my name, number 4 me with somebody, number 5, 6 with some heroine. So what I learned is, but I was not sitting that time. I started doing film with Buddhadev Das Gupta, which took me to Toronto. I started doing film with Papa Dikko, the house crew. People will remember that. I started doing film like that. So I started also exploring the different kind of cinema. I'm a person, I will not sit. So if I am failing or if I am not working or even my film doesn't work, I do something to learn something new. And I have learned it. That's the reason I think I can work with the new directors because they have taught me a lot. Ritu, both of the whoever, stalwarts. So I went on doing film. Buddha used to say, I can't give you money, you're a superstar. I just can't give you money of a gamcha. You know what is gamcha? But we did it and we all got some kind of a different kind of a success in a different way.
Do you like money?
Everybody likes money.
No, because as an artist, how much do you like money? Like. I know that you've done that sort of work across multiple genres and industries. How important is, may I say, commerce to filmmaking?
I had a conversation with a friend of mine and with one of my cousin brother today morning. Commerce is very important. But how you negotiate commerce? একটাই জিনিস every day I talk to myself. I tell my young filmmaker friends, খুব important জিনিস commerce. But storytelling, conviction. That's what matters. If I am not convinced about my subject, you can't do something for the sake of audience. You have to get convinced. You want to do something. I will make this film. I'll tell this story. This is part of my life. I'll die if I can't tell this story to the audience. Ekta shomoy ashe na, I have to hold somebody's hand. It's like a love story. If I don't hold her hand, I die. It's same kind of desperation happens in a film. When you make a film, then you think of commerce. Commerce obviously is very important. Commerce আমরা তো neglect করতে পারি না। আমরা কথা বলি commerce নিয়ে, আমরা ভাবি ওটাই 100 কোটির ফিল্ম বানাবো, 500 কোটির ফিল্ম বানাবো, 1000 কোটির ফিল্ম বানাবো। That I don't believe, and I don't want to believe, and I'm happy without believing that. I want to make a film. একটা ফিল্ম বানাবো। তারপরে দেখা যাবে। তারপর
e-commerce is the most important part, but you have to act. I'm in the process of making. That time I'm an artist. But when the film is ready, now it's a product and I have to sell it. With all my due respect, I'm saying this, that filmmaking, if we consider is at an art form, filmmaking is the most expensive form. Because with all my due respect, I'm saying it's not just writing a poem or painting something. It's a very expensive art form, and you have to understand the arithmetic. যে টাকাটা বিনিয়োগ হচ্ছে সেটা শুধু ফেরত আসা নয়, লাভ সহ ফেরত আসাটা কাম্য, কারণ না হলে আমি পরের ছবিটা বানাতে পারবো না, মানে এটা ফর মাই প্রডিউসার। এবং যেটা বললাম, when I'm making a film, I'm an artist, কিন্তু যখন ছবিটা রেডি হয়ে গেল, now it's a product and I have to sell it. এবং আমি বিলিভ করি যে every product has its own market.
First of all, I would like to thank this TV having me over here and feeling delighted to sit. So I'm really delighted to sit with you. So thank you very much. So you're talking about the cover. It's really a big puzzle and this thing for me, you know. So that's where this thing I stuck my mind and my creative integrity sometimes losing the grip of reality when we thought about commerce. So as you asked me to what do you think about the commerce and making or something like that, from the perspective of an artist. So I'm an artist, I make films, and right from the storytellers conclave, I should say this, you know, as we create anything, everything has to be commodified as such. But I'm not good in commerce. Commerce in the sense like wanted to. I'm a kind of person that who always comfortable to stand behind camera and write something like that. When like it comes to commerce, then this is the biggest hurdle that I've been facing nowadays also. So that's what I feel that what commerce is from a filmmaker's point of view, as an independent filmmaker. The perspective may be different. The answer comes from a big, company's director. This thing.
People in Bombay told me, "Do ek ladki kisi ko thappad mar diya while having a beer, putal phod diya. What is the big deal?" Think is the answer. So I have a tape because I was born in '64. I didn't have so much of aspiration. I didn't know what is Louis Vuitton or what is Jimmy Choo. I knew Ambassador, Bata Juto and terracotta pant, you know. I followed my instinct, but there is a mechanism to make money, to transfer it to money. It starts from the next stage. If you start compromising, then it's a problem. So even now when I make a film, I do that because I make very little film. Trust me, I started making films in the year 2005. All my colleagues, they have done more than 25, 30, 40 films. Amar matro 7. I make it a point that while doing a creative, this is the budget, you have to trust me. I know people trust and 800 crores got 50 paisa. So I managed to do that. Bhai, amake bishwash korun. Trust me, I'll make a good film. Which might work, which might not work. You know, life is not only full of roses. There's a sunny day, there's a black day, and oi kalo dinta beshi ashe. Kharab chobi beshi hoy. Holo na. We tried something, we failed. But I operate like that. I mean, this is the money, and it's not very expensive. Silly. Let's make a film properly. And somehow my actors, my DOP, my collaborators, they get convinced, and I handle the production so that money is not wasted. So this is a mechanism. Everybody has their mechanism. You know, you have to create your own circuit. You have to create your own ecosystem, and it happens. But only thing, I don't want to think of money and make a film. I want to make a film and make money. That's the second. একটু ঠিকভাবে করলে you cover your money, that I know.
Freedom or artistic integrity with the commercial viable things like actually these things, two things goes hand in hand, but it never mix up. So that's what I feel. We create in a sense like we the storyteller, filmmaker, just think of how to connect in a deeper level with the audience, how we communicate. Like as brother Aniruddha told, like he believes in his instinct. That is what like his creative process and the outcome, like what to say, is deeply connected with us, with the being and Antarim, like this we all know like that. So I believe on that way. So every content should have a distributor, an audience, like genre and everything, or success or unsuccessful, who decide the success and unsuccessful. So what we are compelled and what we are bound to do is that we should keep our telling story in a creative realm that which shouldn't be mixed up with the commercial viability of the state. So that's what I believe. These are two, different entities, but it goes hand in hand. So if me as a storyteller, it mix up my mind with the commercial viable things also, then things could get a little messed up and kind of messy. So for me, I believe in myself in a sense like with artistic integrity. So I don't want to lose my grip of reality, the love of art and love of storytelling. So this is what I think.
I will just elaborate it with one incident, one thing. I started my career as a production boy or a manager. I used to get food and locations, right time, and we were happy. What we do when we have to negotiate money, we waste a lot of money. I have seen, with responsibility I am saying, I'm taking a shot. 3 days, it's not required. If you do your homework, if you do your workshop, you stay with your actors for 2-3 months, trust me, one shot is enough. Right or wrong? I saved a lot of money. Pankaj Tripathi in my last film told me, Dada, itna jaldi khatam kar diya. I'm missing it. क्या करेंगे? एक ही शॉट, दो कैमरे में एक शॉट में तो हो गया, क्या करेंगे? और क्या करेंगे? इससे इम्प्रूव नहीं होगा. Let's go on. I love coffee. I need a cup of best coffee, good coffee. I don't want to go to Taj or Roberoi and validate my ego and have a cup of coffee, giving $3,000 or $1,500. I will buy a pack for $700. Keep it at home. Every day I'll sip a coffee. So this is the way I save money. So you can find out and identify the way with good production value, which is also very important. Look authentic. And there is technology now. The only thing, homework. If you do your study, homework, and what is the time then? Every month you can make a film. Then you have to add ingredients. Stay with your film for some time, prepare, and you can make it happen. He has done that and he has made money. And it's not a regular film. Unusual film. He told me I have made this kind of money, I'm so happy. So eventually money will follow. I told him that I've seen some visuals. I haven't seen your film. Please send me a link. Visuals always attract you, We don't grab you. That's the thing. And every visual, every story has its audience. খুঁজে পাওয়া যাবে। আমার বন্ধু বান্ধব বাইরে থেকে এলে না, বজবজে একটা জায়গায় কই মাছ পাওয়া যায়। খুঁজে যায়। And he sells his product every day. So there is an audience we have to find out, and we can't be greedy that this audience, this film will do wonder, will be like Pathan. It doesn't happen.
Three of you. At the beginning of the session, you talked about how you need to be convinced about your script so that you can proceed with it and make a film out of it. Even when everybody else is saying this is not going to work. So what I wanted to ask is, whenever I write something or whenever I want to make something and people say, okay, this is not going to work, maybe you need to change it like this. So that's constructive criticism, but like it gives me a lot of anxiety as well that, okay, maybe this is not good at all, I should scrap this. How have you ever faced something like this? And if yes, how do you?
Try. একটা সময় হয়ে যাবে, it fits into places. Anxiety is part of life. Anxiety will never go.
If you want to add something.
Yeah. For me, like I always follow what the legend has. This thought does not Akira Kurosawa. When you're in your writing process, never look back. You just keep what to say, encouraging yourself, inspire yourself, and just look ahead and just move forward. I just like I believe this statement and I follow this one. Otherwise, a whole lot of as brother Aniruddha already related it. So a whole lot of tensions and confusions will self will what to say will kill you.
Okay. Next question, please raise your hand.
What is it do you think is impeding for Bangla films to reach a national league? Today we proudly talk about Malayali into a national. Today Pushpa probably is seen in different languages in Calcutta also. There are more takers for 3-2 than Podatik, or when Shamrat Z runs a brilliant film like Kovi's Chotalo. Why is it that these are not seeing national level stature? What do you think is stopping Bangla films from reaching that stature? Both of you. I mean, Pink has a bigger canvas.
Painful answer. It will be very difficult for me to answer this on this sitting ekhane boshe. There is a reason. Everything has a reason in life. But trust me, local is the new global. Okay, I'll try to answer this in a different way. Somebody made lemon tart somewhere. Somebody made a chocolate mousse somewhere, and those guys, they believed in that and marketed that. So ekhaneo Bardhamane lemon tart khachi or chocolate mousse Monjinis theke kine khachi. Okay, so there was a team who were educated, who were qualified, who understood their subjects and did that. So in Bangla there is also Kuli Pithe. There is also Chitoi Pithe, there is also Gujia. Somebody has to be there who are really interested to market this, who are really interested only in film business and only in mishti making, and market it, package it, and place it a Paris or at a cafe. So all about this. So when that becomes a habit, you have to deliver good things. You have to deliver something which is national or international. হয়েছে তো হয়েছে মানে কিছুদিন আগেও হয়েছে 20 years back বুদ্ধদা ছবি করেছেন, রিনাদি ছবি করেছেন, আলোচনা হতো. It was a discussed, everybody used to discuss across India তে. তো এটা কেন হচ্ছে না, এটা নিয়ে অনেক we need a day, but it is definitely possible. আমি সম্রাটকেও বলেছিলাম, কবিকে বলিনি, বলছি ভার্সোয়াতে একটা পাবে বসে
এই এখানে পাশে এত ডিস্টার্ব করে দিয়েছে, অনুরোধ দাস তো ওখানে যেতাম। Quick, fatafat.
Please put your hands together for Mr. Indranil Roy Chaudhary.
Great and good, na? Great and good, chete.
Thank you so much for being part of.
I'm definitely not one of them. I'm just a guy trying to learn whatever I can learn in the process of doing what I'm doing. So if ever I arrive and become a master Sunday, I'll let you know. But at this point of time, I'm not one. So I'm just going to share some of my and advising filmmakers as to what they should be thinking and doing. Now, this is by definition an impossible thing to do. You can't generally advise people because each person comes with their own set of requirements. What person A thinks of as a film, person B may not agree with. So it's very difficult to advise and generally discuss what problems people face, because the problems that come to you are a result of the life choices that you make, right? And the life choices that you would be making, I understand, would be success, something that they can tout as success. And also they're extremely scared of making a mistake. What if this doesn't work? And that, if we really go a little deep into this whole psychology that we have, most of us right now, we are very afraid of failing. It will tell you a lot about yourself and probably the paths that you might be wanting to consider in the next 5-10 years. There's this interview that I always try and quote in personal conversations. There's this fantastic musician called Frank Zappa. I'm sure you've heard of him. A very, very famous filmmaker, musician. He also made one film actually. So Frank Zappa, in one of his interviews, talks about why the music of the 60s and the 70s were so different from the music of the 80s and the 90s, right? And we all know they are, right? The music of the 60s and the 70s are so distinctly different from the music of the 80s and 90s. So he talks about how that happened. So he said, at that point of time, in the 60s and 70s, the albums were produced by music producers. Individual music producers were producing albums. They had a taste of music, they had an understanding of music, but they were not sure of themselves. None of them were sure of themselves. They knew that they know a little bit, this is what they like. So whenever they heard an album, they said, okay, I like it, I really like it, but I have no clue whether the world will like it. So let's put it forward. Be okay with the idea that they didn't know. That they didn't know what the public was thinking, what exactly works and what doesn't. Because they were comfortable with the idea of failure, their spectrum was way large. The moment this got transferred to a studio executive, whose job became the idea of producing an album which would work, by definition, that person, he or she, couldn't make a mistake. The nature of the job was that you can't make a mistake, because a mistake would entail a phenomenal set of questions and answers for which you really don't have answers, right? Like, why didn't a great film work is a question which is very difficult to answer, and there are so many examples of that in film history. There are some fantastic films that have worked, there are some fantastic films that haven't worked. There are some very bad films that have worked. There are some very bad films that haven't worked. So, the humility of that person sitting across the table in the 60s and the 70s, saying that I don't know, and the desperation of the studio executive, trying not to make a mistake, and thereby constantly seeking a formula of avoiding making mistakes, leads to what we call homogeneity of craft. Because then, this is exactly what was being discussed in the previous session. Somebody was saying that the studio would tell you to have a crisis at the second minute, and then they would ask you to probably have as a model, it is a very jittery model. It's a model that probably has one success for every 10, 15 films, and the money that is being spent doesn't justify that kind of investment, and also the kind of, on the other side, when you think of what you lose because of this big money, because you've lost those voices that were getting a space, and those different kind of films that were getting made, and the voices that were...
Jump into work, in the work field, and work around. So which should be more learning in perspective of learning, which can like...
Both are good, both are equally good, right? And both have problems, okay? Film schools are meant to be very good places. Sometimes they become very dull places. I teach there quite a lot. So I know the crisis of a film school, that you get into a rut because you get disconnected from the world, and because you get disconnected, you kind of lose a sense of reality. Now, if you know how to use the resources in a film school, like that's a great place to be, right? But you need to have that self-motivation to constantly work hard, because the film school generally lulls you down. That's what I've seen. So if you can use those resources, film school is a great place. Working outside has another problem. You very quickly learn the language of the industry and become like that. Okay. So there's no one path that I would advise. You have to constantly go back to yourself and check. If you stop doing that, you are good and bad in both.
Next.
There's this situation that I'm really facing right now, and I thought that maybe just hearing some words from you might help. I'm trying to develop a story where I'm trying to make a film in both Hindi and Bengali. So it's still in talks with SAF. Patrikit Basu Patrikita is just trying to guide me over there. But sir, it sometimes feels like with all the naysayers and everyone, it just feels like it's not possible. So sir, conviction level, how much do I need it? Like how much do I be like, I don't care, I don't give a damn about anyone saying in the industry, and just listen to jo bhi mere saath hai. Just go along with it. I know that it's a long journey, 6 months, 12 months journey. So sometimes, especially at my age, I'm just 26 right now, and like just into screenwriting, just developing 2-3 projects. So like what do I keep in mind? Because you just mentioned be curious, be foolish, and I think that's something that I also go with. Koi baat nahi, it's okay. But like how do you deal with when people who are of like legendary stature, try to advise you it's not the best option? So like
what is not the best option?
Trying to like create a story which can be maybe released in 2 languages at a time, Hindi and Bengali. There's this conflict between shooting something in Mumbai and then in Kolkata. But me being somebody who has worked in both places, so I want to bridge that gap.
You have to be very honest when you answer this question, and you might not answer it on that particular day, because all questions need not have an instant answer. But if you can honestly ask yourself as to why you want to do a film in Bangla and Marathi and release that in both places, if that reason is good enough for you, then I would say that you should, pump hard and go ahead, right? And you might not do it in the next 2 years, you might take a while, you're just 26, you've started, so it's a long haul, right? So there's no reason to despair, but you need to know the why of it. And when I say you need to know the why of it, it may not be articulated well, because a lot of us cannot articulate our reasons well. You don't need to articulate it well, you need to know it well, right? If you are convinced yourself, then you should try that, yeah.
Let's see.
बोलो हाँ
Come on guys, I know आप सुबह से ऐसे मास्टर क्लासेस आप सुन रहे हैं, इसका मतलब ये तो नहीं कि आप ऐसे थक जाओगे. Show me some energy, है कि नहीं?
हाँ.
Better, can be better but it's okay. Long way. Alright. So today I am here to talk about collaboration. Whether you're an actor, a digital creator, or a filmmaker. साथ मिलके काम करना एक कला है. But before that, let me tell you a little about my own journey. A story of dreams, risks, struggles, and most importantly, courage. मैं 12 साल के कोलकाता की लड़की थी, जो अमिताभ बच्चन, शाहरुख खान, रेखा जी, माधुरी मैम, सलमान खान सबको देखकर टीवी पर सोचती थी कि एक दिन मुझे भी कलाकार बनना है. उस बड़े पर्दे पर होना है. But let's be real. Dreaming is extremely easy, right? But turning them into reality is the most difficult part. So I told my father. My father couldn't say no because I was extremely rebellious, stubborn, and most determined child you'll ever meet. But I came from a middle class family. So he gave me two simple conditions. One, that I'll finish my schooling, and second, that I'll be financially independent. I said challenge accepted. So back in Kolkata, along with my studies, I started giving auditions here in Kolkata. It did not work out. That's a different story altogether. I was a child. I did small beauty pageants and started my journey of content creation to earn money. And by the time I turned 18, I had enough money saved to tell my father that, Papa, अब मैं जा रही हूँ. सारे challenges हो गए, पूरे deal खत्म. I packed my bags and moved to Mumbai alone. একটু risky ছিল, তাই না? No? No? Are you guys even listening?
Yes, yes.
Thank you. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure you all guys can relate. सपने देखने वाले ना डरते नहीं हैं. और एक बार जो मैंने ठान लिया था ना, that मुझे कलाकार बनना है, वो मैंने ठान लिया था. You know, when I moved to Mumbai, I didn't know anyone. No resources, no support, no contacts, nothing. Fun fact, I didn't even know how to give an. Secondly, so this is, if we have time, I can share this small incident happened. Of course, as an actor, and specifically a woman, we meet such people in our industry. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. But this is, I think, पहले मुझे तो पता नहीं था. But then I figured it out, how to tackle with such people. So on camera, guys, please record it and share it to your favorite people. जो भी actor या इस industry में बनना चाहते हैं, आगे कुछ भी कलाकार. सामने वाले को पता मत होने दो that you are alone. भले अकेले हो.